Amy, good to see you again. I think last time we saw each other was in the Swiss mountains in Davos. Good to see you again. I'm still very intrigued by your work on psychological safety. In my organization, where we have great people, we have great products, and still our performance is not yet at the top. And so what we see is that what's coming in the way is currently our cultures. So we have embarked on a massive cultural journey where we want to create a more inspired culture, more curiosity that people learn, and also more empowerment, which we call unbossing. But what is interesting is the old culture is the first thing that gets in our way. People still feel uncomfortable or waiting for permission. And so I was thinking about your work around psychological safety, because there must be a link there that people don't feel yet they can go to this new place.
Yes, I agree. It's wonderful to see you again, and I love talking about this topic. So in my mind, most managers, most executives don't appreciate how very much interpersonal risk contributes to business risk, including the risk of underperforming the talent that you have. So interpersonal risk, is that just almost taken for granted sense that I need to look good in front of you, especially if you're my boss,
yeah.
Right? And it leads people to hold back. And the act of holding back is invisible. Right? You don't know when I haven't shared an idea. You don't know when I haven't asked for help. You don't know when I haven't pointed to a mistake or a problem. It just, for all you know, everything is well, because no news is good news. And so I have a new book called The Fearless Organization, and I document, a dozen or so very serious business failures that didn't have to happen, right? Had there been more psychological safety.
And what's, in your work, the root cause of that fear? Or
I think the root cause lies in the broader culture. Right? We have a culture that tells us in a variety of ways, day in and day out and throughout our education, that we need to look good, especially in the eyes of the people who evaluate us. And so we have one hand behind our back, essentially, because we're always kind of wondering and assessing and holding back, and then unwilling to take those risks, because we've been trained in the idea that others, especially higher ups, are evaluating us at all times, and that they will be happier with us when we get everything right, when we look smart, when we have the answers, when in fact we should be asking the right questions, not offering all the answers. No individual person has all the answers anymore.
That's sure. I think the time that the smartest in the class could solve the problem is long behind us. We're trying to move to this from looking good or feeling good to doing good. Have you found yet tricks to crack the code? How do you shift from an organization where people still hold back or try to please look good to an organization where people feel empowered to do the right thing?
Yes, I think I can safely say yes. There are things that you can do, and often when I say you, I'll mean the word leaders, but I don't mean leaders just at the top. I think leaders at the top matter a great deal, and I think leadership can and must be exercised all the way through. So the most important thing, when you said shift from looking good to doing good, I'd add on doing good together. Right? Because so much of what needs to get done, like so much of the value creation process today is collaborative. It's done in teams or through teaming. And so I think leaders, again, throughout the organization, need to be emphasizing the new reality day in and day out. Like, we're no longer in the Industrial Revolution. We're in the knowledge revolution. And that means sort of just again and again calling attention to uncertainty, to complexity, to ambiguity, right? So, and interdependence. So if I'm using those terms a lot, if I'm sort of painting the challenge ahead in ways that necessarily imply there will be mistakes along the way to success, I'm sort of freeing you up to make them, to report them, to help us learn really fast from them. So I think it's got to start with making sure we're all on the same page about the nature of the work. And then it goes on to include some proactivity in inviting people into the conversation, asking good questions. When leaders model the behavior of asking good questions, others will follow. First, they'll offer ideas, and second, they'll do likewise. They'll ask good questions, which sort of gets...
We're definitely on that track. We use this concept of the servant leader.
Yes.
Where in the past, often leaders saw their teams in support of them so that they could report up.
Right.
But the entire concept is that a leader is there to remove obstacles. They bring clarity. They share the problem that needs to be solved, and then let the team have a go at it whilst leaders remove obstacles.
Absolutely. They remove obstacles. They provide protection. They provide resources. They provide inspiration. They don't provide all the answers. They certainly don't know the answers that the bench scientists are working on. They don't know the answers that your best sales teams are developing in the field with your best, customers. And so they're there to provide support. In fact, I think of the folks on the front lines as sort of, they're teaming up to get the work done. The folks in the laboratory and elsewhere, they're teaming up to innovate. And the folks at the top are teaming up to support those activities. That's their full-time job. I love the servant leadership concept.
Yeah, and it's going to be a journey for us. We're going to reskill all top 300 to begin with, and then we have team perspective, so the teams give feedback to the leader constantly, so that you learn behavior by behavior how to become such a leader. It's not an easy journey, but it's a fascinating.
No, but it's not meant to be easy. Right? If it were easy, it would not be a source of competitive advantage.
Yeah.
Right? So and the important thing in what you just said is it's going to take practice. Right? It's not one and done. It's going to be something that you sort of try out, and then you keep practicing. You keep practicing until it starts to become something like second nature.
Fearless teaming.
Fearless teaming, yes, yeah.
I'll have a read, and I look forward to learning more there. Hey, thanks so much.
Great, it's lovely to see you again. Yeah, thank you.